my name is Nicole. Welcome to my channel, Travel to Money. In this video, I am going to tell you about my experience buying a pull-behind camper, the concept of renting out campers, maintenance costs, and how I ended up selling my camper. If you are new here, I have created this channel to help you learn about how to travel, adventure, and have fun on the road to financial independence. I have traveled the world, paid off a house in Spain, and I've made big moves toward financial independence. I believe that the road to financial freedom can and should be fun. I hope that you'll subscribe and join me on this journey, no matter where you are starting from. Before I jump into the topic for today, I just want to introduce you to this new plant wall that my friend and I installed. A few weeks ago, I told you about a house that I was going to rent in Orlando and that I was going to live in a portion of it and then rent out the other portion on Airbnb. I've slightly adjusted those plans. This is the one-bedroom apartment, and I'm going to be renting this portion on Airbnb instead of living in it. The wall behind me was a very bright teal that was just not nice. We covered it with this charcoal color and added the two plant panels that are still a bit in process. I'm excited to get this up on Airbnb in the next couple of days. My friend and I enjoyed putting in the plant wall so much that we're actually going to start a side business on the weekends installing plant walls for people in the Central Florida area. If you are in the area and you're interested in a plant wall for your home, patio, or business, let me know. We'll be doing some pretty big discounts for our first few customers. Okay, let's get into the topic for today. In early 2021, I was browsing Facebook Marketplace and I came across a pull-behind camper that had been gutted and renovated on the inside. The listing was for $6,500. It's one of those things where you know it's a deal as soon as you see it. Now, I knew nothing about campers, but I knew that I wanted this one the moment that I laid eyes on it. I wasn't going to mess around and make a lower offer, risking losing it. So I wrote the owner right away and made a full price offer. She wrote back and explained that she already had someone who had scheduled a viewing with her later in the week, but that she would put me as the second in line. 2 days later, she wrote and said the other person canceled the viewing and that I was next, but that she had a line of people. I told her I would take it. A day or so later, she and her husband brought the camper to me. They were wonderful and spent over an hour showing me everything and let me film them so that I would have something to reference if I forgot. I'm not going to lie, I was a little overwhelmed by the amount of information. There are so many details that come into play with a camper. I already owned an old Escalade with a towing package. I didn't have to change anything to my vehicle, which was nice. At the time, I lived in a neighborhood where I was able to park the camper in a nice area. During the cooler months, I would take my computer and work from inside the camper, using my phone as a hotspot for the internet. I liked being in the camper more than I liked being in my apartment because the aesthetic was really legit. Unfortunately, working 2 full-time jobs kept me from being able to take it on the road. So, like many RV owners, it just sat there and was only used by me when I wanted to chill there for an afternoon or have a night of cool sleep with the windows open. After it sat there for 6 months, at some point I saw an advertisement or a YouTube video explaining that people rent out their campers. What a light bulb moment. After doing some research, I found some websites where you can calculate what kind of income you can make renting out your RV or camper. For my size camper, which was on the small side at 18 feet long, it said I could expect to make between $15,000 and $19,000 per year. Some people rent them to travel with, and other people may have you deliver it to their property so they can use it for extra friends or family who are visiting, and then others may want it for something like tailgating or other events. You can choose the different types of things that your camper can be listed for. Let me tell you what I think some of the benefits are to having a pull-behind camper instead of an RV or a camper van. First of all, you don't have to pay any insurance unless you want to. You are covered by your main vehicle insurance for liability when driving it. Now, if you want to add additional coverage, that's up to you, but it's not something required at all. Secondly, I think it's a major advantage to be able to unhook a camper from your car. Let's say you are traveling with your partner. If they are sleeping and you need to go to the store, in a camper van, you have to drive your home with you wherever you go. But with a pull-behind camper, you can leave your home and significant other in one place while you take the vehicle to another place. Now, there are several different sites where you can list your camper for rent. I chose one called Outdoorsy because it was the most similar to something like Airbnb to me. Things like insurance options are included, and it just seemed to make the process pretty easy. I ended up listing my camper around November or December of 2021, but it's not a great time to be listing. Most people using campers for vacations begin looking in the spring. I had a couple of people reach out about it, but the dates and times didn't work out for me. In early 2022, I went to sleep in the camper one night and noticed an area that had been leaking because there was some sort of water stain coming down one of the walls. I found a local guy who does camper roof repair and asked him to come look at it. When he got his ladder and climbed to look at the top, on the other end of the camper was a hole bigger than a baseball. I'm not sure what caused it, maybe an animal, but this was bad news. He initially quoted me around $3,700 to replace some of the roof panels and seal them. I didn't really have an option but to get it replaced. He took it off, and about a month later, when he began working on it, he messaged me to explain that some of the walls had sustained water damage and those panels would need to be replaced as well. Long story short, the whole thing ended up costing me just over $6,000 to repair, which was almost the cost of the camper in the first place. This one hurt. This had taken what I thought was a good investment and turned it into something I no longer wanted to deal with. After getting the camper back, I decided to list it on Outdoorsy again. I had a few people reach out, but it wasn't moving quickly enough for me. I decided to cut my losses and sell it. I listed it on Facebook Marketplace for $10,500. Because the camper was beautiful on the inside, I knew I would get a lot of attention. Also adding that I had just spent over $6,000 to repair the whole roof, to seal it, it was going to be good to go for the next person. I probably should have listed it for more, but I was able to sell it at my full asking price less than 48 hours after listing it, and I had several people who were interested. As a matter of fact, during that 48-hour period, I was getting probably 5 to 10 messages per hour, which got me thinking. I look at other 18-foot campers. There can be some in good condition, but they all just look old and dated. When I have a little more time on my hands, I bet I could buy one for about $3,500. Do some basic interior remodeling. And by basic, I mean things like repainting the cabinets, putting a new sink in, putting in a backsplash, and then decorating it. I think I could reasonably put $1,000 into fixing it up and then sell it for over $10,000. Camper flipping. Would you be interested in watching me do a project like that? Let me know in the comments. Also, I've done quite a bit of thinking about doing camper van life at some point and doing a tour of the national parks in the US. Let me know if that's something you would enjoy watching, or maybe if you're planning to do something like that yourself. I gotta say, I loved the little camper that I bought, and I was really sad to see it drive away. I think campers can probably be a great way to make somewhat passive income. They can be a decent option as a home for travel, and they can also be an investment worth flipping. In my one experience, I definitely made some mistakes. Right after purchasing it, I almost bought a cover for it for a couple of $100s. I'm not entirely sure, but that one cover might have saved me thousands of dollars. This experience has been an expensive lesson to learn, but it hasn't entirely scared me away from campers. I think that there is a lot of opportunity, but much like a boat, they can be expensive to maintain. The only other thing I had to fix on it was one of the jacks. When I first Googled jack replacements, it seemed that most were over $100. Fortunately, I found one with Harbor Freight Tools for $37. I love Harbor Freight Tools. They have good quality stuff and for a fraction of the price that you'll pay in other stores. Anyhow, if you have enjoyed this video, please do me a big favor and hit that like button. I would also be honored if you would decide to subscribe and join me on this journey where travel and adventure build financial freedom. I can't wait to see where your dreams will take you.